Okay, it's Philip Lee returning with another episode of Civil War Chat. Today is May 3rd. It's a Monday, May 3rd, 2021. To subscribe to my channel, click on the subscribe button below. And also to be notified of future episodes, click on the notification bell in the upper right. Today, what I want to talk about is the disfranchisement of Confederates in the state of Tennessee during Reconstruction. And the reason Tennessee is treated separately from the other 10 states of the Confederacy is it was not covered by the 1867 Reconstruction Acts. And the reason for that was that Andrew Johnson was the military governor of Tennessee, and he was elected in November of 1864 to be the vice president for Abraham Lincoln. So he had to establish a Unionist regime, Republican regime in Tennessee, 2 years before the Reconstruction Acts. He gave Tennessee its own Emancipation Proclamation in November of 1864, and then in February of 1865, the new state constitution in Tennessee outlawed slavery. So let me just first, I want to figure out how many Confederates, ex-Confederates, were disfranchised in the state of Tennessee. It is necessary to do a little bit of arithmetic. It's nothing more than subtraction and addition, but it's actually subtraction. So I'm going to share the screen and show you the results of 4 elections that need to be analyzed. Okay, these are the 4 elections we're going to analyze. I'm going to read from a script to try and minimize the number of words that I use here and keep this as logical as possible. As this table shows, 131,000 white Tennesseans voted in the last antebellum gubernatorial election in Tennessee in 1859. That's the top one in the table. Now, the next gubernatorial election was not until March of 1865, when an East Tennessee Unionist, Union loyalist, won the election. That was Parson Brownlow. He got only 23,000 votes, and the reason there were only 23,000 votes cast for all the candidates was because Confederates were not allowed to vote. Thus, the difference between the 23,000 in the 1865 vote and the 131,000 in the 1859 vote would imply that about 108,000 Confederates are disfranchised. Now, even though the Confederacy had lost Tennessee by March of 1865, the Civil War was still in progress elsewhere. Arguably, therefore, the estimate of 108,000 disfranchised Confederates in Tennessee is not the best figure of merit to use. Getting a better figure requires more analysis, which considers the 1867 and 1868 elections. Now, Blacks were first allowed to vote in 1867, but ex-Confederates remained disfranchised. Consequently, the Scalawag regime, was elected with 97,000 votes. Since the 23,000 votes of 1865 were all white Unionists, the number of Blacks who voted in 1867 can therefore be estimated at 74,000. Subtract the 23,000 from the 97,000, and you see that what happened is you have an introduction of 74,000 new votes, and since Blacks, this was the first election they were printed to vote in, that is estimated as the number of Blacks who voted, 74,000. Okay, when you look at the 1868 election, when ex-Confederates were finally allowed to vote in 1868, the aggregate number of votes from Blacks, white Unionists, and ex-Confederates totaled 175,000. Thus, assuming the 74,000 Blacks who voted in 67 also voted in 68, the number of white voters is thereby derived at 101,000. 101,000 total white votes. Assuming the 23,000 Unionist voters in 1865 also voted in 1868, the derived estimate for the number of Confederate votes in 1868 is therefore 78,000. Thus, the 78,000 figure is therefore the best estimate of the number of Tennessee ex-Confederates who were disfranchised by Tennessee Republican Reconstruction. Now, that's a large number. I mean, Eric Thoner, let me just stop screen sharing here and get my picture back up on the screen. Stop. Screen share. Eric Foner estimates the total number of ex-Confederates that were disfranchised. And he was talking about the 67 acts, not Tennessee, but he said, oh, there were only 10 or 15,000. But Tennessee alone had 74,000 ex-whites, ex-Confederates disfranchised. Now, it's true, the new state governments, the Republican regimes in the South, where they had a majority of black votes to begin with, they didn't really need to disfranchise Confederates. So the disfranchisement tended to be bigger in the border states, but 78,000 is the estimate. 78,000 for Tennessee is an estimate for just one of those upper South states. And disfranchisement was a serious situation. So since there's a little bit of arithmetic in this one, I'm just going to conclude now because I don't want to complicate the message anymore. But for those of you that want to learn more, get Southern Reconstruction, my book, Southern Reconstruction by Philip Lee. It's $22 on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. If you want an autographed copy, you get it from me, and it's $25. I will cover the postage if you're here in the United States. All you need to do is email me, Phil, P-H-I-L _Lee, L-E-I-G-H @me.com. I would also recommend that you get my book, U.S. Grant's Failed Presidency. It's also $22 on Barnes & Noble and Amazon, as is the Southern Reconstruction book. But you can get an autographed copy from me also for $25 if you contact me at the email address I've just given. Okay, that's our show for today, and I want to thank you for watching.